All right, today we are jumping into something pretty fascinating. New Delhi's five-star hotel market. And let me tell you, it's not just bouncing back from the pandemic, it's going through a total transformation. Basically rewriting the entire playbook for luxury hospitality.
So, let's just get right to the headline number, the one that makes you do a double take. It's this, plus 52%. That's how much room revenue has skyrocketed in Delhi's top-tier hotels since 2019. We're talking about a boom like we've never seen before.
But here is the real puzzle, the mystery at the heart of this whole story. That incredible jump in revenue, it happened without really any more people checking in. The number of guests has stayed almost flat. So, how on earth is that possible?
To figure that out, you have to get that the market didn't just recover, it completely changed its strategy. What we're seeing is what you could call Delhi's five-star gold rush. It's this huge shift away from the old model of just trying to fill beds, the volume game, to a new focus on getting the most revenue out of every single guest. It's all about the value game now.
And when you look at the numbers, it's absolutely undeniable. The entire explosion in value has come from the room rate, not from filling more rooms. To put it simply, these hotels got really, really good at raising their prices, and it turns out the right customers are more than happy to pay up.
Okay, so to really dig in, we gotta speak the lingo. There are two terms you need to know. First is ADR, which stands for average daily rate. Super simple, it's the average price you're paying for a room per night. The second one is RevPAR, that's revenue per available room. Now, this one is the holy grail for hotels because it multiplies that daily rate by the occupancy. It's the ultimate report card for how profitable a hotel really is.
And wow, this chart just says it all, doesn't it? Look at the climb in the average daily rate. Back in 2019, a five-star room would set you back about 6,900 rupees. Fast forward to today, it's over 10,200. That's a leap of more than 3,300 rupees per night. That is what's fueling this whole thing.
So where is this all playing out? Well, it's not the same story across the entire city. The research actually slices Delhi into four very different micro-markets. We're going to call them the four key battlegrounds because each one has its own players, its own price points, and its own rules for winning.
First up, the most exclusive arena, the diplomatic enclave. This is where presidents, prime ministers, and the world's most important diplomats stay. We're talking about places like the ITC Marriott, which is legendary for hosting American presidents. Here, they don't compete on price, they compete on security and pure prestige. That's why their room rates are the highest and most stable in all of Delhi.
All right, on to Battleground 2, Central, or Lutyens Delhi. This is really the historic and cultural soul of the city. Here, hotels like the Oberoi or the Imperial aren't just selling you a bed for the night. Nope, they're selling a piece of history, an iconic story. Plus, this area has some of the best restaurants in the entire country, making the hotels themselves a major destination. Then we have something totally different, a totally modern creation, AeroCity. This used to just be a place you'd stay for an early flight. Not anymore. It is completely transformed into a powerhouse for business and events. It's got massive convention centers and huge names like JW Marriott, and it's grabbing a giant piece of the MICE market. That's industry speak for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. And that brings us to our final battleground, which is the absolute workhorse of the market, South Delhi Commercial. This area is dominated by giants like the Hyatt Regency, which has a massive number of rooms. It is the undisputed king of the corporate travel market, basically the go-to choice for a huge number of business travelers just because of its size and location.
So, okay, we've got these four very different battlegrounds, but in each one, why do some hotels thrive while others just get by? Well, the analysis lays out the specific strategies, the playbooks really, that the top hotels are using to absolutely dominate the competition.
The secret sauce here is building an advantage that your competitors just can't copy. The research points to four big pillars. First, having an iconic restaurant. A place like Bukhara is so famous it can literally let the hotel charge a 15 to 25% premium on its rooms. Second, diplomatic and security positioning. You just can't fake the kind of prestige that comes from hosting world leaders. Third, having a rich heritage and story. And fourth, having massive event infrastructure to lock in those big, high-value corporate bookings.
But a winning game plan isn't just about the hotel's assets. It's about really, truly understanding who's staying there. And the modern luxury guest in Delhi? They've changed. Their demands make it clear that it's not just about gold taps and chandeliers anymore.
And this quote from the report just nails it perfectly. It says guests want to feel at home in the best version of India. They're not looking for a generic, global luxury hotel that just happens to be located in Delhi. Think about that. They're seeking authenticity, an experience that feels like it could only happen right there.
So who are these guests? Let's break it down. You can see corporate travelers and big MICE events make up the lion's share, well over half the market combined. But the slice you really need to pay attention to is that 10% for domestic high net worth individuals. The data shows this group is the fastest growing and is having the biggest influence on what luxury means today.
And what they want is setting a whole new bar. They want authentic Indian luxury, not some cookie-cutter global brand. They expect technology to be seamless and invisible. Think flawless Wi-Fi and mobile check-in. Here's a really interesting one unique to the city. Air quality assurance inside the hotel is a big deal. But above all else, hyper-personalization. It turns out something as simple as a staff member remembering your name is the single most powerful way to earn a guest's loyalty.
So all this success, all this growth, it paints an amazing picture, right? But it also forces us to ask a really important question about the future. Is this a sustainable boom, or is it a bubble just waiting to pop as a massive wave of new competition is about to hit?
And this slide really captures that tension perfectly. On one side, you have everything fueling the boom, record prices, rock-solid demand, and that surging domestic luxury traveler. But on the other side, you see the warning signs of a potential bubble. We're talking about more than 1,000 new luxury rooms hitting the market by 2027. Huge global names like Waldorf Astoria are on their way. And when you have that much new supply, there's a very real danger of a price war that could pull everyone down.
And yet, even with that big risk on the horizon, the expert forecast is surprisingly bullish. The projection is that the average daily rate for these hotels will actually climb past 14,000 rupees by 2026. What that tells us is that the fundamental demand seems to be strong enough to soak up all that new competition without causing a market crash.
Which really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. As this market gets more crowded, and as the guests get more sophisticated, the definition of success is changing. The new gold standard isn't just about being luxurious anymore. It's about creating an experience that embodies the soul of Delhi itself. Its history, its culture, its power. And the big question is, who's going to be able to meet that challenge?